Okay guys, we ran the script to rebuild all of our machines. We waited till the NAT router was fully booted before we hit enter. Then we booted up all the other machines except for the DA because we're not at that portion yet. So now we're going to test our other script. So I'm going to highlight by line 1 all the way down to line 73. That's going to set up the IP addresses, rename the computers, install the appropriate software, join it to the domain, promote DC1 to a domain controller, and then that's the first portion. So I'm highlighting all the way up to 73. Then I'm going to press play, and you're going to sit back and relax. It's going to take a while.
Where'd you get the script from?
I got that script from right here. It's what we wrote in class last time. If you had typos, download my script.
We're supposed to change the machine, right?
You should change your machine name. If you haven't, don't worry about it.
Oh.
Yes, but you could do edit, find and replace CS01 with your station number. Under edit. It's not going to be a big deal. I'm going to pause the video because this is going to... Okay, so guys, the first part of my script is done. So now I'm going to run the second part, which is going to create my reverse to promote my second DC. It's going to take a few minutes, so I'm going to pause. Okay guys, my DC2 is up and running. So now I'm going to run the rest of the script. I'm going to highlight from 94 to the end. Guys, the way this script is written, we're going to have to run it in 3 different sections. I'm going to reiterate. Some people haven't heard me the first time. Don't run the whole script at once. Just run the 3 sections. The green hash marks separate the different sections. First section renames everything, assigns IP, installs software, promotes the first DC. Second one creates a reverse, promotes the second DC. Then the last section of the script joins everything to the domain. And it configures the DHCP service. Guys, there's a glitch I noticed with PowerShell. When you configure the DHCP server in PowerShell, it doesn't look like it's authorized. So you might need to reboot that one machine. I'm going to pause the video now. So guys, my DC1 is a domain controller. DNS is properly configured forward and reverse. DC2 is a domain controller. DNS is configured forward and reverse. All of these machines are joined to the domain. The software's configured. The software's installed. IPs are set. Host names are set. The only machine that I really configured was DHCP1. So I'm actually going to go to DHCP1 and we're going to look at those settings. Guys, don't worry about this. It's done. When you authorize it in PowerShell, this doesn't go away for a little bit. I don't know why. Honestly, I don't care. So I'm going to go to Tools. I can see my DHCP server is working properly. I have a scope. There's my scope pool, my exclusions, my scope options. Everything is good there. So I'm going to go and continue with DHCP2. Again, I am going to double check who I'm signed in as. Who am I? Make sure you're signed in as the domain admin. Once I've done that, I'm going to complete the configuration. I'm going to give it a couple minutes so DHCP1 realizes DHCP2 is authorized. After I waited a few minutes, I'm going to go back to DHCP1. Again, I'm lazy. I don't want to have to configure all these settings on the other server. So I'm just going to copy them from here to there, configuring failover. So I'm going to highlight DHCP1. Maybe not. I'm going to highlight IPv4, then say configure failover. I'm going to do it for all my scopes. I only have one. I'm just going to type the name. Guys, if you didn't change your name, make sure that you use my name. And if you change your name, you use your name. If you left mine, stick with mine.
Trying to add
Is this on the partner server?
DHCP2 to the list.
I got the same app.
Sorry. I was testing you. None of you, you're all failed. That's your midterm grade. It's DHCP2.
How? I don't know.
That worked.
It's supposed to be there. Am I supposed to type it?
You're supposed to type. That's why you're getting paid the big bucks.
Yes.
My DHCP2 is
What name did you use?
no, like DHCP2 turn it on. It's a red arrow, red face down arrow. I have restarted like multiple times.
Hold on 1 second.
Check it on this one, check for the server.
Listen, are you in this utility looking at DHCP2?
No, I mean DHCP2, like DHCP2.
Right, but you're looking at this utility?
Yeah.
Well, the reason why is we haven't configured it yet. So just authorize it. Now go back to DHCP1 so we can copy everything over to DHCP2.
Professor, why is the maximum client load time so high? Like, why would we want to wait an entire hour before we replace it?
What?
Why is the default maximum client lead time an hour? Does that mean, because I'm interpreting that to mean that it'll take an hour before it assumes that a disconnected DHCP server 1.
No, I'm assuming that it's going to renew its IP address an hour ahead of time.
Okay.
I'm assuming that. Honestly, no one's ever asked me, and I've never played with that.
Okay.
Did you configure a scope? Did I miss that?
My scope was done by the script.
Right. That was the other thing. For some reason, DHCP1 it didn't even have the feature of DHCP. I had to add that afterwards.
Did you run the third part of the PowerShell script?
Yes. All my other machines are right. DHCP2 is correct. It has DHCP. It has all the scope.
What happens after the path?
That's really weird.
After what?
The path, like you type in the path.
Or you can load that.
Oh, I typed in the second machine,
Right.
click next, and then I'm going to unselect enable meshes authenticator because this is just a lab environment. In real life, I wouldn't want to do that. I would have a pre-shared key, pre-shared password. Click next, then finish. So now DHCP2 is done. We just copied over the settings to DHCP2
I have no next option. Is that, am I missing something?
because you need to unselect enable the message authenticator.
Got it.
I don't get load balancing, though. I feel like the other setting makes more sense to me. I mean, I guess it makes sense if you have too much traffic and you're trying to balance the traffic, but without that, it doesn't make much sense.
Yeah, go back in. So, I guess. Sorry, okay, so it's on both machines. Okay, so guys, next thing we're going to do is do the IPAM. I'm going to connect to the IPAM server. Again, verify that you are in fact signed in as the domain admin, not the local admin. IPAM is already installed through the PowerShell script. So this is one of those utilities where we have to actually use the left. Up until this point, everything's been under tools. You want to click IPAM on the left, it's going to bring you to this screen. I'm already connected to my IPAM server. I'm going to provision my server. Create an internal database. My GPOs are going to start with IPAM. It's telling me what it's going to do. Then click apply. Yep. Then the next step is we have to go to PowerShell and provision it with the PowerShell command.
The GPO is IPAM?
Yeah, the acronym that the prefix of the GPOs will all be IPAM. I did next to all of it, and then at the very end, it's telling you what command to run. Open up PowerShell. Type this. Know the name of your IPAM server. Mine is CS01 IPAM. Invoke IPAM GPO provisioning. Domain is contoso.com. The GPO prefix is IPAM. The GPO server is CS01 IPAM.contoso.com. Guys, and you can do force, it doesn't help. You still get these weird little question marks where you have to click yes or okay. I can't remember.
You can play it now?
Sorry, guys. Sorry, it'll come back up.
What was the GPO prefix?
What's the solution to this? Reboot the DCs, reboot the IPAM. No other solution. So I'm going to reboot my DC1. Guys, how am I rebooting DC1? By connecting to the machine, signing in, then rebooting.
Oh, I didn't get an error. not everyone's gonna get that area copy.
Correct.
Or the partial command?
Yeah.
There's the PowerShell command. Guys, I gotta reboot anyways.
Also, we have to reboot both IPAM and DC1 whenever.
And DC2.
And DC2.
Now, when you do the certification, you're going to have to type this command. Every person who's taken the certification had to said, I got that PowerShell command for the IPAM.
Invoke.
Yeah, there's no tab complete. You have a keyboard and a blank field.
Is this, error common?
It's common to all 2019 servers.
So this command was pushed through 2016, we wouldn't necessarily get this error? Okay.
We never got it with 2016. And a lot of people online, what's the solution? I said, let me just try to reboot, and it worked. So I'm going to restart my IPAM. I've already restarted my DCs. Now I'm going to rerun the invoke command. Invoke IPAM provisioning. Domain name is contoso.com. Prefix is IPAM. Guys, give me 1 second. Let me hit enter a few times so it stays on the screen. Invoke IPAM. Domain contoso.com. Prefix is IPAM. Fully qualified server name is CS01. IPAM.contoso.com. And again, if you hit the force, it doesn't help.
I got an error saying the property exception.
Did you reboot? Reboot the DCs, then reboot the IPAM server.
Overrun the command again?
Yes. I just got the same error.
Oh, I shouldn't have to run this again if it worked the first time, right?
Correct.
Okay. Just realized it was the same one.
You played yesterday, it says, it asked it for 2 minutes.
Yes, that in 2012 we didn't have that. 2016 it started popping up that yes, just click yes, yes, yes.
Okay.
So reboot IPAM and DC1, or,
Reboot the DCs, let them fully come back up. Then reboot your IPAM, then run the command again. If you get the data exception error.
yeah.
Carlos, want me to come back?
Fully qualified domain name.
Because you not putting contoso.com. It's the FRL. Fully qualified domain name means the host name plus the domain name.
So it should be higher.
No.
I don't know if it works.
Well, that's gonna be,
Yeah. You know, do I get it?
It worked. I'm doing it in PowerShell IC, but it's not. So look, basically, when I had those pop-up boxes, those graphic pop-up boxes where I said yes, 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 you're just being prompted.
What could we check on to make sure that it worked, that it's successful? Yeah, I can see that.
What did you see? Did you see this?
Yes.
You're good.
Wait, I don't see that.
Are you running it in? Yeah, you're running.
Have you rebooted it?
Yes.
Reboot your DC, let them both shut down, reboot DC1, then reboot DC2, and reboot this. I guarantee you, that is the solution. Okay, guys, just so I can get this video done, I'm gonna move on, Hassan.
That's fine.
Okay. So I'm gonna go back to IPAM. I'm gonna go to the third step. If you don't have anything here, click on Get Forced, click OK, come back in, and you should have Contoso here. Once you have Contoso here, click Add, then OK.
Yeah.
And you say okay?
Yes, it should say Domain Selected 1. Then start your discovery. This takes a while. Take your second break now.
Okay.
What's the IPAM command line?
Okay, I'm gonna take a break. Listen,
What are we gonna check on, Andrew?
I'm gonna come back to it, Charlie. Okay. You want to do step 3, then step 4. In step 3, you're going to click the Add button to make sure Contoso is down here. Once that's done and it says one domain selected, start the discovery.
Can I see you do that again?
I can't do it again, but right down here it'll say Contoso. You want to click the Add button. Yeah, there's a glitch. If they're all blank, click Get Force, OK, go back in, your force will be there, click the Add button, go to step 4. Okay, guys, I'm going to unpause this. I'm going to pause this rather. Okay. So I'm going to exit this. My server discovery is done. So I'm going to select this, step 5, or select this. So I'm just going to do step 5. In 2019, it doesn't discover the DHCPs. I don't know why. So I'm just going to manually add them. Add servers. Type in cs01 dhcp1.contoso.com or your name. Click Verify, DHCPs, Managed. Then do the other one. cs01 dhcp2.contoso.com, Verify, DHCP, Managed. Then do the other ones. The other two, you have to edit and say Managed. Edit, then Managed. When we change this to Managed, guys, here's what you're doing. you're going to Tools, Group Policy Management, and you're fixing the permissions on the GPOs. So if I highlight this, I can see DC1 and DC2 are going to apply this policy. If I highlight the DHCP, I can see the DHCP 1 and 2 are going to read and apply this policy. And the IPM DNS, both DCs are going to read and apply that policy. So before I do anything, guys, I could do GP update and see if that works. I'm just going to reboot. I'm not even going to play around with it. I'm going to reboot both DCs and both DHCPs. I'm going to reboot my DCs first.
Why the reboot?
Because I need to reread the GPOs. I could do GP edit.
You can't force it?
I can. Sometimes it doesn't work.
In 2019 or just in general?
Just in general.
This is just GP update.
Want me to tell you, if you did a GP update, then left the room for 10 minutes and came back, you'd be fine.
Because it takes a while after it's done.
Yeah. And when my DCs are up, I'm going to reboot my DHCPs.
It says unblock IPM access. I can only see HCP1, not 2.
So manually add 2 by clicking on Task, Add Server. So you should have 2 DCs and 2 DHCPs.
So once DC 1 and 2 are rebooted, reboot another.
Reboot DHCP 1 and 2.
Sure, probably talking about CMD.
Wrong on GP update.
Do you do
on
GP
DC.
update in PowerShell or CMD, or it doesn't matter?
It doesn't matter. Well, it does. GP update is a normal command prompt command. There is a equivalent command in PowerShell. I don't know what it is.
No, but it works in the power.
It works, but there is a PowerShell command to do it. But to be technical,
Get group policy.
yeah. Is it?
I think so.
Okay. You might be right. I don't know.
What was it? It works. GP update works.
It is, but it's not an official PowerShell command.
I gotta do it on DC2 as well, right?
I'm not taking chances. I didn't run GP update. I just rebooted them.
That does the same thing though? Rebooting them?
It will, every time you reboot a machine, it automatically goes and gets new policies.
Alright.
Listen, I don't want to just get the policy. I want the settings to apply. Meaning, if those settings aren't applied, yes, you could have retrieved the policy, but if the settings aren't applied, that means the firewall is still blocking the IPM server. So I'm not taking a risk, I'm just rebooting.
DCs or
I do my DCs first, and when they're fully up and running again, I reboot my DHCPs. Because, guys, retrieving the policy is not going to be enough. You need to retrieve it and apply it.
But it's still, says there's still one-on-one IPAM tasks running.
You got to wait for it.
Should it really take that long though?
It could.
Okay.
Okay. Both my DHCPs are up, so I'm going to go back to the IPAM. I'm going to right click DC1, retrieve, refresh server access status. Wait till it's done. And to do that for each server.
Could rebooting IPAM do the same thing?
No.
Okay.
Once I retrieve, click refresh. I'm going to do it for DC2. Refresh server access. Refresh. I'm going to do DHCP1. Waiting for the bar to stop. Refresh. Last machine.
I didn't see you refresh the HTTP though.
I did.
You didn't?
I have videotape of it.
Oh, you did.
Okay, guys,
I'm asking if you did.
if you just change this to manage and waited like a half hour, 45 minutes, come here and refresh, it would have been fine. I just don't want to wait. Once you're done with that, guys, and you have all green, go back to overview, retrieve all the data from the servers. That's going to take a while. As far as I'm concerned, guys, IPAM is ready to use. You can start using it to configure your DNS servers, your DHCP. I'm not going to bother with that. I'm moving on to the last set of machines. DFS R1. Yeah. Okay. Did you do refresh? Did you reboot those machines? Redo them again. I have no other solution. There's no special trick. There's nothing DC1 and 2, shut down, reboot, wait for the run. Then do the DHCPs. Okay, then once you've done that, you did this, Carlos, too, right? You went to here, you right-clicked, and you did refresh server access status, right? Okay. So, guys, the DFSs are real easy because we have them all joined to the domain. We have all their appropriate software installed. DFS replication and namespace on R1 and R2. DFS replication on S1 and S2. So the first thing I'm going to do, add servers. I don't have that many, so I'm just clicking find now. I'm going to add all 4 DFS servers to this console. If you're not signed in as a domain admin, you're not going to get the results you want. You will not be able to remotely configure those servers as your local admin. If you go to all servers, you'll see one line for all 4. A convenience thing, I'm going to go manage, create a server group, and put DFS servers so I can see all the logs for all 4 machines in one place. That creates this area right here. I can look here, see all my logs for all 4 of those servers. So 2 steps. Add the servers, all 4 DFS servers, then create a group. And again, you type the group name here, highlight the 4 servers that you've added, move them to the right. Now I'm going to spend a total of 2 minutes setting up DFS. That's all it takes. Or 2 hours to back out mistakes. If you do with PowerShell, you're less likely to make mistakes because you can script that and have your script working fine before you take the test. So I'm going to go to Tools, DFS Management. I'm going to create a new namespace, and it's going to ask me for the first server where I want to create it. I'm going to create it on R1. And again, you don't have to do your notes now because this is recorded. I'm going to call it public. It's going to be a domain-based namespace, meaning I can have multiple name servers with replication between the two. It's going to I create a link on one machine, it'll replicate it to another. Create. Once I've created a namespace, I want to add a second name server. If this server goes down, I want another server passing out the links. DFS R2. Now, once I've created the namespace and added a second name server, I'm going to create a new folder. I'm going to call it Profiles. Now, when someone clicks on this folder, I'm going to send them to one of two network shares. So I'm going to add the first network share. Click Add. Guys, the example is wrong.
DFSS.
DFS S1 Profiles. How many people are with me?
Not yet.
Where are you at, Navarra?
I just,
Added a namespace server.
You already did that? Okay, I'm gonna wait a second. Where's everyone else at?
I finished making the first
Right
one.
there.
Am I just making a whole?
Just make two of them.
Wait, is it a new namespace or add?
Yeah.
Because there's add namespace, display, and new namespace.
Yep. Whatever you're showing here. DFS Then who else? Where's everyone else at?
Can we just name it DFSR too?
I'm probably gonna restart again. Word close.
No, don't restart it. Hit refresh.
This one?
Yeah.
How do you get that?
Let me just verify. Needs to be, okay.
No, no, leave them first.
Come back, hit refresh.
So now just remove the DCs. I don't need to remove the DCs.
Right.
Together.
Okay, just wait. You know,
This is bugging me.
okay, I understand. Every time I say this, people laugh. You gotta let it bake. Just sit and bake.
Why SS?
Because that's gonna be R1 and R2 are root servers and they hold links. S1 and S2 are network shares, S for shares, that are actually going to hold the network shares in the user data. The example is wrong. Do not go by the example.
And then password
I'm going to click OK.
is C://
It doesn't exist.
Yes.
C:/shares profiles.
Would a capital C, if I lowercase it, would it matter?
No, I'm OCD. If you go into Windows Explorer, all folders names start with an uppercase character.
Okay. Do we have to change permissions, use custom permissions,
Yes, we do.
and allow all?
Again, I'm only configuring share permissions here. NTFS permissions I have to configure after the fact.
You use custom permission?
Yep.
Full control.
Now I'm going to add the second target. When they click on the profiles folder, it'll take them to one of two servers. I'm going to add the second server. CS01 DFS S2 profiles.
You did a new namespace or new?
I'm still in the same. I added a second target to this existing folder. Oh, you mean at the very beginning? Yes, I added a new namespace. Put in R1, and then the namespace is public.
The server is R1.
Yeah, whatever your server name is. I'm going to click OK. C,
Shares profiles.
shares profiles. Customize the permission. I'm going to click OK. Create a replication group, walk through the wizard to replicate between those two shares. The only thing you have to choose is which one is primary. It doesn't matter, they're both empty. Just walk through the wizard, choose one as primary. I made no changes. I'm going to add a new folder to that namespace. I'm going to do this a little quicker. Folder name is redirect. Add to targets. CS01, DFS, S1, redirect.
I think we need our namespace.
Shares, redirect. Set the permissions. How many people have been in our lab in 128
Next door?
Yeah.
in building 13?
Oh, yeah.
Guys, we have the same setup over there.
Sometimes you have to redo what you do on the first day of class, like reformat the computer.
Yeah. When you go in there, you're going to have to set up the image. The thing is, if you go in there with a group of people, they tend to get more done. You know. Guys, and I teach 6 classes a semester. So you can imagine toward the end of the semester when everyone's doing the final, that lab is jammed. Don't wait to the end. Because you go in there, you might not have a seat. And these people might not leave for 3 or 4 hours. Customize the permission to everyone full. Create the replication group. Guys, do you want me to walk through the wizard? Do you want me to show you how to configure a roaming profile on the video?
Shares?
Okay, so DFS is done. Look, if I go to my namespace, I have 2 name servers. If I go to profiles, there's 2 targets. If I go to redirect, there's 2 targets. Now, I'm going to go to File and Storage Services, Shares, to fix the NTFS permission. So I'm going to do everything from S1. Go to Properties, go to Permissions, customize them. Guys, I'm going to remove users, add,
Oh my god, I'm not sure what you did.
press cancel, 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 cancel. So I'm going to go to my server manager, go to File and Storage Services, go to Shares, highlight Profiles on S1, go to Properties, Permissions, customize them. I have permissions and share permissions. I'm going to remove both users, then add domain users. Modify rights. Click OK. Then I'm going to do the same thing for redirect. Right click, go to Properties, Permissions, customize a permission. Remove both, and add domain users. Modify rights. Click OK until it's closed. You only need to do it on one machine. It'll copy it over to the second machine.
Where'd you see modify rights?
Right click,
Yeah.
Properties, Permissions, Customize. When you add and you select someone, it'll say modify right there.
Okay.
When I'm at shares, I just see one local tab. DFSR1.
So you did not add servers. If you don't add the servers, you're not going to be able to remotely control them all together.
Do I just select them all?
No, I just selected all the DFSs. Once you've selected them, you've got to hit refresh and come back into this.
So how do I select them all?
Add servers,
Yeah.
highlight the ones you want,
Okay, which is all the DFS ones.
then click the look right here.
And then okay.
Right. So guys, I'm going to show you how to create a roaming profile real quick. I'm just going to do it on one user account.
So much.
Where are user accounts stored? What machine? DCs. So if you want to configure an account setting, you have to go to a DC. I'm going to go to Tools, Active Directory Users and Computers. I'm going to go to the user container, go to Properties,
Properties of administrator.
Properties of the Administrator account, yes, thank you. Go to Profiles. No, he's talking about the hospital. Like, do you ever go to the, Carlos, do you ever have to go to the other floors to help, like, end users?
Nurses all the time.
Good. When you go to the fourth floor, the cath lab, you got to screw with my wife. Contoso.com. What's our namespace called? Sounds like public. Public.
So it is.
Profiles. That's the folder we created.
Is there anything that rhymes with public? I don't think so.
Okay. So you just put in the path and the user account name. That's a roaming profile. When that user logs on, logs off, logs back on, they'll have a roaming profile. But guys, the last thing I'm going to do, and this is everything we've done up until this point, is going to show you how to do folder redirection. So I'm going to go to Group Policy Management. Domain, Group Policy Objects. Guys, this is in the other video as well. So I'm going to create a new group policy called Folder Redirection. Folder Redirection. Click OK. I want to edit it. Not there. Go to User Configuration, Policies, Window Settings, Folder Redirection. Find the folder you want to redirect. Guys, I'm just going to do 2. Go to Properties, Basic Configuration, put in our DFS share, which is public, redirect, and just copy that.
Contoso.
Sorry, and just copy that.
/public /.
You'll get a warning message. Then do that for every folder you want to redirect. Basic configuration, drop in the path. Once you've done configuring all the folders,
Everyone.
whatever ones you want to redirect, link that policy. Okay. Let's. So far, guys, what we've done today is DC1 and DC2. DFS, all the DFS. DHCPs, IPAM. Here's what we have left. We're going to configure VPN servers with the NPS server. That's our next lab. Then we're going to configure direct access. Both of those are kind of finicky. Once those are done, that's going to be your final. So this is, you have to do all this plus those 3 other services: VPN, NPS, and direct access. Direct access is kind of like VPN, but actually different technology, but the same goal. You need to practice. You're not going to watch a video, come to class, and take the test. Who was in my last class with me, the 1390? One girl came to class, thought she could watch the videos, sat down for 5 minutes, left crying. Left all her stuff on the table. Just left it. So you need to practice. I'm going to stop recording.